It's been a year since we were blessed with Transformers 1. I knew of Transformers as a kid, but this movie was really what triggered the hyperfixation with the franchise. This movie is the perfect gateway for anyone of any age or demographic to experience Transformers. Since it's been a year now, and we've all had plenty of time to think about this movie, I wanted to dedicate a video to it. So here's an unorganized rant about Transformers 1. Let's start with the aesthetics. One of my initial complaints about the movie was the sound design of the characters. In the theaters, I immediately noticed that they didn't sound like metal creatures. At best, they sounded like plastic. But I don't think this is a negative anymore. Watching it back, the characters kind of look and sound like toys, which for this fandom, the action figures are a large part. So the characters looking and sounding like action figures is kind of charming. The city, of course, looks stunning. It's well animated, well lit, and well designed. I always wondered how practical it would be for a Transformer whose alt mode is the car to get around a city. Because the flyers naturally have an advantage in a tall city, but the moving and transforming roads make it convenient to be a vehicle now too. And then the aesthetics change when the main characters go to the surface. The little hints of organic life are a cool touch, and I love the 80s synth-looking sunrise. It's a beautiful way to reference the 80s while also creating a sci-fi and alien-looking planet. Also, the planet's very surface transforming is very neat, and I feel like that complements its transforming inhabitants very nicely. The scene where we first see the Quintesson ship is creepy and heavily serious, and then exploring the cave is eerily beautiful. I really like the aesthetics in this movie, if you can't tell. Now let's talk about the humor for a second. I think most of it is really funny. The movie doesn't focus on little kid humor like the trailers would lead you to believe, but instead it has humor that anybody can laugh at. There's no fart jokes or anything like that. Most of the comedy adheres to the traditional rules of what makes something funny in cinema. Let me explain what I mean a little bit. In movies, there are some standard rules that make something funny. This movie is a big fan of saying something true, but unexpected.
You are looking especially shiny this morning. New polish?
Orion Pax, I'm sorry that I somehow gave you the impression that we're friends.
Just grab your bag and go! Yeah, good idea. Found.
Okay, stop. I know what you're trying to do, and it's definitely working. I'm in.
My life! I get to work for the government!
There's also the trick of saying something, but cutting to something unexpected.
Yeah? Well, watch this.
And there's also the idea of entering or exiting the frame in an unexpected way.
So long, sucker!
Where's the train?
Relax, okay? Here it comes. And there it goes.
I was born ready.
On three. One. Where is she?
Found her!
These are just a few ways that you could create humor in cinema, and I think this movie does all of them really well. And of course, if you're like me, there are many minor jokes littered throughout the movie.
I'm sorry, are those minors in the race?
Miners! Those are miners like us!
We're minors.
It's a shame. You really were a great miner.
Miners!
Darkwing.
I must say though, I'm still not a fan of the badassatron joke. I think it was just used way too much. It wasn't funny in the first place, and then it got really annoying really quickly. If I was a parent, I could definitely see my kid trying to repeat a joke like that in class and then getting in trouble for it. In a similar vein, as a side note, I also wasn't a fan of Alita saying hell yeah at some points in the movie. Couldn't they have said the Cybertronian equivalent instead? There are several Transformer swear words they could have used in the movie, like scrap, slag, frag, glitch, pit, aft, and etc, etc. Okay, this is where the rant is gonna derail real fast. Now I'm gonna talk about the story and the characters. The story is very character driven in that it's the decisions of the characters that take them to the next location. There's no outside forces that compel Orion to do what he does. He chooses to do what he does. It's Orion's choices that got him chased by the police. It's his choices that got him in the Iacon race, and it's his choices that get him to the surface to find out about the Quintessons. This kind of plot, when done right, is very good and very impactful. When you're writing a story about a hero of any kind, it typically needs to be character driven. Now, while it might be character driven for Orion, it's more so plot driven for D16. Most of this rant is going to be comparing Orion and D16's story, so buckle up for that. Orion and D16 have the same starting point in the story. They even remind us of this at the end of the movie. But while Orion is making decisions, D16 is reacting to his decisions. D16 doesn't start making his own choices until about halfway through the movie, when we see him start to turn to the dark side.
Fantastic! Another Orion Pack's master plan. I can't wait to hear this.
Wait, don't you want to stop him?
No, I want to kill him!
At its core, this is a classical story of good versus evil. While Orion is actively making decisions in an attempt to better Cybertron, D16 reactively makes negative decisions such as vengeance and destroying Cybertron.
What if tomorrow we ran in the Icon 5000? Huh?
What if I kill you for waking me up?
No.
The best seats in the house. Why'd you bring jetpacks?
I'm crazy! Sure feels like it.
If we survive this, I'm gonna kill you!
I accept those terms.
From the line, "I'm done saving you," we get the sense that D16 has been reacting to Orion's decisions for their entire relationship. Even their first interaction in that little flashback has Orion initiating their meeting.
Hey, Megatron is Prime. Nice.
Oh, yeah, well, he's my hero.
The greatest Prime to ever live.
So even though they start in the same place, they end up in wildly different places based on how they act or react in different situations. As D16 grows into the Megatron we know and love, we see hints of the darkness growing in his spark in various ways. Of course, we can see him getting more and more angry, but visually we can watch as the movie goes on, his eyes shift from yellow to light orange to dark orange and finally to red when he surrenders to his emotions. They even highlight this by focusing on his eyes toward the end of the movie and giving him those cool red laser trail things. That was really neat. Orion was always the more optimistic one and was trying to better his world rather than just live in it. He's a typical main character in that his spark's in the right place, but over the course of the movie he learns what he actually needs to do. His character growth is less of a character arc and more of a growing into the leader he always had the potential for. At the beginning of the movie, D16 says,
"Your feelings get you in trouble,"
while brushing the arm that he's later going to blast off. And later he blames Orion for bringing them to the surface in the first place.
You just had to do it, didn't you?
Me? What did I do?
You just had to go to the surface, had to enter the Icon 5000. You just had to break protocol.
While D16 framed this as negative, when Alita essentially says the same thing, it's now framed as a positive.
You snuck up to the surface to find the matrix of leadership.
Yeah, and how'd that work out?
My point is that your instincts tell you to break protocol for a reason. This blind optimism that you have is why you make such bold and courageous choices.
I thought this was a cool parallel, highlighting which one will be the future villain and which one will be the future lover, maybe? I don't know what they were planning in this continuity. D16 really is the one with the character arc, but it's a villain arc. I love when he stands up to Sentinel, but it also hurts at the same time. I want to root for D16 because in this moment, he's doing the right thing. He's standing up to tyranny.
Well, what's this about?
I'm not kneeling in front of you.
And if that was it, that'd be awesome and heroic. But unfortunately, he decided to simply replace Sentinel.
I wouldn't say free, more like under new management.
And the best part of this movie? 2 deaths and 2 births. The death of Orion in D16 and the birth of Optimus Prime and Megatron. The fact that this happens at the same time is glorious. This scene is peak. It's the culmination of the entire movie and then some. It elevated this movie from a good movie to a great movie. The soundtrack being a mix of Transformers Prime and the 80s cartoon when Optimus dies in both is crazy. Oh my gosh.
Orion Pax, your noble sacrifice for the greater good has proven you worthy in the eyes of Primus. He entrusts in you the future of Cybertron. And the matrix of leadership.
Above all, do not lament my absence. For in my spark, I know that this is not the end.
That is until Robots in Disguise decided to retcon it. May you never rest in peace, Rid. The planet / Primus opening up a pathway for Orion to reach the core is gorgeous and narratively beautiful. While one destiny is given, the other is taken. Orion Pax has done everything he can to get to this point by his own strength. He's then rewarded with the Matrix of Leadership and the title of a Prime to continue his journey. D16, however, has taken everything. He takes his new name of Megatron and he takes Megatronus' cog for himself. Want some more parallels? Optimus Prime's catchphrase, "Till all are one," comes from Alpha Trion.
We're outnumbered but stood as one.
And now we stand here together as one.
But Megatron's "Rise Up" comes from Sentinel.
What's wrong, D16? Rise up!
Decepticons! Rise up!
While Optimus learns from history, which he loves to study, Megatron is doomed to repeat it by simply becoming the next Sentinel. And of course, when Megatron spits out the name Prime, it's as if to say his old friend Orion Pax is dead to him, and it's just...
This isn't over, Prime.
I didn't initially write this in the script, but as I was getting footage for this video, I noticed another parallel. Both Orion Pax and D16 get a dolly zoom, which is a cinematic trick where you push the camera forward while also zooming out, and it creates this really cool highlighting effect on a character's face. And they both get this dolly zoom moment when they realize the person they admired is gone, essentially. So D16 gets his moment when he watches Megatronus getting beheaded, but Orion Pax gets this moment when he's watching his friend D16 turn to the dark side. Okay, now let me backtrack a little bit because I didn't talk about any of the other characters yet. Let's talk about Sentinel Prime real quick. I love him as a villain. Very beautiful, very hateable, much style, much wow.
What's this about? I don't know. I'm pretty great. So disrespectful.
Can't believe Vanessa said it wasn't sassy. I mean, look at me. I'm beautiful. Work it. Fear.
Just like Satan, Sentinel is very beautiful, but is just the worst. He's a real threat that actually hurts the main characters and kills a lot of people, but you also understand his twisted motivation. You don't relate to it, but you understand it. He wants to stay in power. It was the scene where he tattoos D16 with the Megatronus logo that made me stop and think, okay, I love this movie.
Here. Let's make sure it doesn't come off.
That moment proved that it was not only bold enough to show someone getting tortured like that, but also smart enough to have a character unknowingly create their own downfall. He even has a final boss moment. I love this. I just feel like this is a video game villain who just spawned in, and I'm expecting his title to pop up at the bottom of the screen. He's entertaining, but also so hateable that you love to see him get what he deserves. But even that is a bittersweet moment, because while Sentinel is receiving justice for his actions, we know that D16 is crossing a line that he won't return from, normally. Of course, there are a couple continuities where he does kind of recant his evil ways, but for the vast majority, he don't. So I was watching this movie with a friend, and we get to the scene with the flashback of Alpha Trion and Sentinel Prime, and she just casually comments, "Imagine waking up from a coma and your old secretary is stealing people's kidneys. It could happen to you. It happened to my good buddy Alpha Trion." Thanks for that, Grace. I'm gonna talk about Starscream now. I loved this version of him so much. It's definitely in my top 5 versions of Starscream, probably. My first reaction to Steve What's-His-Face voicing him was negative, and it really didn't fit his character, but then he has his fight with D16 and his voice box gets crushed. So now we have an origin story for why he sounds stupid.
I'm stupid!
Oh, you captured Starscream!
It was too easy.
I'm going to rip you apart piece by piece so that your death is painful and you'll regret the day
You
you
sound
ever...
ridiculous. It's weird.
For the most part, this is the traditional Starscream that we all know and tolerate, but the little hints of lore about the High Guard make him very interesting. I would take a whole movie about the High Guard working with the Primes. Think about it. So would Starscream have worked directly with the Primes? That's cool and different. Speaking of lore, the line, "The new rulers of Cybertron," immediately throw any traditional lore about the Quintessons into question. So I guess they're not the creators of Transformers, which leaves us curious as to how this war started in the first place. And of course, we'll never know how the war ends because Paramount is dumb. The other cons are cool too, of course. I like how Soundwave has his original power of telepathy, and I like how this is a younger version of Shockwave that hasn't completely grown into a psychotic nerd yet. I especially love the little let him cook moment between Soundwave and Shockwave because it shows Soundwave's loyalty to a cause over loyalty to a person. And it's a rare moment of Shockwave attempting to help or defend Starscream.
My God, Egypt.
He said the thing! Bee and Alita are fine, I guess. I like how Alita isn't a Mary Sue, but Bumblebee just was really annoying to me. I'm sorry if you like these two characters, I just think they were mid. They served their purpose in the story, but they didn't stand out to me. Now here's some thoughts that I didn't want to organize into a paragraph, but I wanted to mention anyway. Chris Hemsworth sounds great. I was cautious at first, but I like how his voice acting changed as his character did.
I will be waiting. I am Optimus Prime.
Actually, D16 did a great job too.
He deserves to die. Can't you see that?
Can we just talk about real quick my abs here, bro?
Skyfire mention.
Followed by Spray Can Skyfire.
Hot Rod mention. Ratchet mention. Everything about this scene is hauntingly beautiful. I like how in the vision where the Primes are killed, they land where their corpses are. I'm not a fan of Beastformers normally, but I like how they included one. Bro tore him apart by transforming. He did the thing. Soundwave's alt mode looks really cool. Violence! Superhero pose. I like how he hits Megan with his own cannon, but Meg just transforms and takes it back. Shooting Starscream with Shockwave's gun is disrespectful and I love it. Bro took Starscream's missile, hit Soundwave with it, and then kicked Shockwave to the side like a tin can. The fight scenes in this are so well choreographed. Aw, he's crying! This movie knows what it's doing. Take, for example, the audio. I'm obsessed with the sound mixing in this movie. Several times in the film, the sound will just cut out at just the right moment to indicate how severe a situation is. And at the end, the sound effects are cut and we're left with just the beautiful soundtrack that's both hopeful and daunting at the same time. The same can be said for how it handles slow motion. This movie knows that it's cool and acts like it. You could tell the people who made this movie were a part of the Transformer fandom. This story accomplished so much, and yet there's not a single wasted scene or unnecessary fluff moment. And yet you don't feel overwhelmed either. I can't talk about this movie enough. In an earlier video, I rated this movie a 7 out of 10 because of Bumblebee and Alita's language wasn't what I expected from a Transformers movie, and I thought that Megatron's turn to the dark side was a bit rushed. But now I'm officially changing that opinion to a 9 out of 10. The story is solid. I completely recant my idea of Megatron's story being rushed. The clues were all there from the beginning, but I didn't notice them until rewatching. It's not a 10 out of 10 because I'm still not a fan of B, but mostly it's not a 10 out of 10 because Blur would never be in 375th place in a race.